Which is better, InNOut or Shake Shack?
Last night I experienced my first earthquake in California, and boy was it a doozy.
What's up guys, it's Nick Tom. I'm here with my lovely wife Ren. We're back with another mukbang, and today we got InNOut. So let me explain. Both sides we got the classic fries. In the middle we got the animal style fries, which means it has a Thousand Island dressing, onions, and pickles smothered on top with some cheesy sauce. We got two doubles here, so that's double the patties, double the cheese, and then we have two classic cheeseburgers. Let's do this. So here we got that cheeseburger. Look at that. Oh yeah. Woohoo. Alright, I'm just gonna go for that double.
Is this ASMR?
I guess so. It's taking me so long to reach everything. Alright, here we go. I'm so excited.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my god. So it's actually Ren's first time eating InNOut. So I'm really curious to see what she thinks of it.
We actually waited. How long was it? It took like I think an hour total.
Yeah, the line was crazy. It like went around the block and then back around. And then when we got into the parking lot, we saw that there were all these parking spaces. So maybe it would have taken us less time if we had just parked and gotten to eat. But we also went to the one in Hollywood.
I did like the vintagey look of Hollywood.
It's good?
I'm starting to really like it now.
Ah, yes. Yes, babe. Oh my goodness, I could eat so many of these.
Oh, I didn't try the animal fries yet.
Wow.
You guys know ketchup necessary. Wow.
Was it good?
Yeah, did you try it? That's pretty bomb. Yes.
Okay, Ren, so since this has been hyped up so much, do you think that the burgers and the fries and everything lived up to what you expected it to be?
I think it satisfies me. Does it blow my mind? No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the great debate that we wanted to start is, which is better, InNOut or Shake Shack? I know this could probably start like an argument. What would you say, babe? If you had to choose one and compare the two, because it's kind of the East Coast versus West Coast kind of thing.
So I'm on the fence too. I didn't think I would, but now I am eating this. There's definitely a lot of differences, and I would say it depends on your mood. I'm still thinking Shake Shack. I'm gonna go with Shake Shack. So the one thing I asked Nick if there was any mushrooms on InNOut burgers, and he said no. And that's the thing that wins me over, is that there's the Shack Stack, where it's like the portobello mushroom. It's fried, is also in the burger with the meat. And it's so good. But this is really, really good. I'm not gonna lie, it is really good. It does live up to the hype.
No, that's good though. It's good that you like both of them. Yeah, so I actually read an article because I was curious about this subject. This one guy, he flew out to LA, had InNOut here. He flew to New York, had Shake Shack there. And his basic findings was that when it comes to the burger, he preferred InNOut because it was more of a balanced burger. So it wasn't as heavy feeling. I think actually Shake Shack uses better quality meat, which is why it's so flavorful and why it comes across as feeling a little fattier. But sometimes you just don't want that in a burger because it's gonna make you feel really sluggish afterwards. Actually, he preferred the fries at Shake Shack because they're thick and they're crinkle cut, so they're like crispy on the outside always and then soft on the inside. Versus like these ones are really thin, so even when especially when they're covered in sauce, they can get soggy really quickly.
But maybe they kept it this way because this was since like 1948, this establishment. So they're like, okay, this is how fries were in the beginning and we're gonna keep it this way.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I mean, once you gain success as a burger joint, you can't just change the way you make fries. Yeah, but one thing I was telling Ren about is that I feel like depending on which coast you're on is the burger that you should be eating. Because when you're here in LA, InNOut just tastes so much better. And the vibes are just so much more like laid back California and just makes sense. When you're in New York and you're in the middle of the hustle and the bustle and you want that quick bite of something really juicy and delicious, then Shake Shack fits all of those requirements. And Shake Shack just tastes so much better when you're in New York. I'm gonna go for the cheese.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yes. There we go. We should have gotten more burgers.
You know what? I do appreciate beef wraps. It's double layered. Maybe that's just me because I don't like my hands being all sticky.
Oh. Oh, I never realized that.
It's the design, Nick.
Yes. You are the designer out of both of us. Ooh. I have a desire to put peppers in this, like jalapenos.
Oh, you know what? It does look like it would go great with jalapenos.
So one thing that Ren and I did recently is we went to our first drive-in movie. I was wondering, Ren, is it what you thought it would be? Meaning, was the drive-in movie how you saw it in the movies?
I did like it. I did like it a lot. Very like classic. Kind of like I never thought I would experience that because you know that was like a fad in like the old days, and you know we just had movie theaters, so I never suspected like, oh, I'm gonna be in a drive-in someday. But we did. Did you like it?
I really enjoyed the drive-in movie because I thought it was a great date idea. It was like just like a classic thing that we could do as a couple, and I like the idea of us trying doing like old couple things together.
Yes.
That was like what it was.
I feel like a grandpa and grandma couple.
Yes.
Yeah, like back in my day. We can actually say that.
Yes, we're gonna say that to our kids. And they're gonna be like, yes, Grandpa, Grandma, we know you lived through the pandemic of 2020. No one wants to hear any more stories of how horrible it was.
Speaking of horrible, this wasn't what we're gonna talk about. But last night, I experienced my first earthquake in California. And boy, was it a doozy. And I was like, this is it. You know, you thought 2020 was over? No, this is it.
Oh yeah, because everything's gone wrong so far. But yeah, that was a really big earthquake. I mean, it was like a 4.2, I think, and it was a 4.5 actually. It was like pretty close to where we live. So everything shook. Like it woke us up. We were sleeping and it woke us up. So our whole bed was just like shaking back and forth. I don't know, but I feel like it started slow, and then it was like.
You know, that could have been the case.
That's what I felt, because I felt like I was moving in my dream, and then suddenly like I woke up.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. And so the curtain shaking, I was like, oh my gosh, and it just clung onto Nick.
We did the thing like in the movies, where like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, we just like jump into each other's arms. Because you were like, Nick, and I was like, babe, and I grabbed you. We're actually not sure what to do if there's an earthquake, so we probably need to be more informed.
Yeah, we need to come up with a plan. It's like those commercials I used to see as a kid where it's like, are you and your family talking about earthquake plans? And I'm like, no, I'm in Jersey.
Oh, wow, I've never seen those commercials. I need that.
But anyways.
There were a lot of pros and cons about going to a drive-in movie. So, babe, what would you say some of the pros were?
I definitely liked the space because I could like put my seat back, lean it back, and then just like have all the space, like put my feet up on the chair, you know, crisscross. If I really wanted to, I could put my feet up on the what's that called?
The dashboard.
The dashboard. You know, there was that option. In movie theaters, I feel bad because I tend to like shake and move around, and I feel especially bad for the people behind me. But in this case, you know, you don't have anyone for that situation.
Right.
What's one pro?
The privacy is really good because you're in your own car, so you can kind of do whatever you want. Like, you can turn the volume all the way up, and you can turn it all the way down, and you can take a nap if you want to. You don't have to worry about bothering other people because they're all the way in their cars. So, And it's pretty cool just to kind of feel like we're in our own little world.
And extending that privacy. I tend to make comments a lot in movies. Rip my brother and whoever was next to me because I'd be like, oh my gosh, is that? And then they're like, shh. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you do get really into movies.
I do.
Ren gets really mad when things happen in movies and she'll be shouting at the TV. And I'll be like, oh, babe, they can't hear you.
I'm just so invested. Yeah. But the fact that I have the liberty to make comments and talk, that's pretty nice. But also, the opposite is sometimes when I used to go to, you know, a newly released film, you know, there'd be like crowds of people and everyone's commenting and everyone's reacting. So you really can't hear the movie. So in this scenario, there was no one else but Nick and me. So I enjoyed the fact that we could hear the movie so clearly. Do you have any cons?
Well, I think the one con overall that really wasn't in anyone's control is the fact that it was COVID-19. So we had to social distance and we had to wear a mask every time we got out of the car. And what I really wanted to do is that classic thing where you're like sitting on the hood of your car or sitting out of the trunk while watching the movie. But we couldn't do that because it's just more of a risk of spreading germs. So we had to stay in our cars the whole time. Another con though leading into that would be that the weather is bad. So in this case, it was really sunny that day. So we were just kind of stuck in there and had to run the engine to turn on the AC, which because I'm really stingy, I don't like wasting money, so that's what was happening. And also I feel like it was just causing a lot of unnecessary pollution because we weren't going anywhere in the car, we just had the engine on. So I felt kind of bad about that.
And imagine if it was raining. I mean, California doesn't rain very much, but let's say there's a drive-in in, I guess, like, as always, Jersey. What if it rains? Then it's like your car's window is gonna be like either full of raindrops or you're going to need to make it go like swishing. I forgot what are these scenes called.
Windshield wipers?
Windshield wipers,
Yeah,
yes.
because it wipes the windshield. It's okay, sweetie. Yeah, but I think I saw on the website of the company that was doing the drive-in movies that if there was weird weather conditions, they would try to reschedule or I think even like refund you your money. So I think that's the way that they used to work back in the day. One thing that I wish they had, which they couldn't do because of COVID-19, was I really wanted people to come around and roller skates, roller blades, serving the food, like taking orders for like this kind of food, like diner food. What they did have there was they had food trucks, which was pretty cool. I mean, the food was kind of expensive, but you could order from local LA food trucks, and those are really famous.
I guess another pro is that you could bring your own food and snacks.
Yeah. Yeah, you can load up your car with a ton of snacks if you really wanted to.
Would you recommend it? I recommend it. I thought the screen would be like you wouldn't be able to see because I'm like, oh, it's daytime. I thought it was gonna be nighttime. But then the screen was like stadium screens, so you could see it very clearly in the day. Would you recommend it though?
Yeah, I think that everyone should go experience it at least once. But I would recommend that you try to go see one at night. And I feel like they're not going to be around after the pandemic ends, but it would be nice to get like the full experience of like people coming in your window and serving you. Or I want those trays. I want those trays that hang outside of the window and you can eat off of it.
Oh my gosh, I never knew those existed. That would have been so cute.
I've only seen them in like old school TV or in movies.
By the way, this was a surprise date from Nick. He didn't tell me anything because he knows how much I love surprise dates. First hint he told me was like water. And I'm like, to the beach? And he's like, no, it's gonna really throw you off. Because the title of the film he watched was Be Water. And what's that, Nicholas?
It was a Bruce Lee documentary. I know that doesn't sound like the most romantic movie to take somebody to, but martial arts has played a really big part in Ren's life, and I knew she was a fan of those style of movies, so Bruce Lee's like the biggest martial artist icon ever. So I thought she'd be really interested. And did you like it, sweetie?
I loved it. And sweetie, also it is romantic because you actually thought about me. I'm a gifts person. So the fact that it reflects that you were thinking about me, what I would like, is already super romantic. It's the most romantic. I need another burger.
I got you, babe.
Yes.
I'm gonna get more.
Oh, it's so big. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, and did I like it? I loved it. First of all, it's a new movie. Was it in the Sundance Festival? I think it says something like that.
Oh no, this was a part of Tribeca.
Oh, the Tribeca Film Festival. So it was super good. Honestly, before this, I didn't know that much about Bruce Lee other than that yellow jumpsuit. And honestly, that's all I knew. I never really watched a Bruce Lee movie, which is actually pretty surprising considering I really love martial arts movies. But I watched this, I felt so educated and entertained. It was very good. It was very well edited, very well directed, and very well chronologically told for the most part. Did you like it?
I did like it, yes. One thing I really got from it that I didn't know about Bruce Lee is that he was born American. I don't know why, but that really shocked me. I thought, because I also did research on other martial artists that are really famous, like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, or Donnie Yen. These guys were all born in Asia, like mostly China, and then they came to America either when they were kids or when they were young adults. So they were like Chinese first, and then they became American. But technically, Bruce Lee was born American, then spent his childhood in Hong Kong, I think, and then came back to America. But I really related to that because I was born in America but grew up in Asia. And I thought it was really cool that Bruce Lee really wanted to represent Asian culture, even when he was probably seen as like a Westerner in the eyes of other Asian people.
It's very conflicting.
Yeah, the documentary hit on that a little bit, where he was kind of an outsider anyway that he went. When he was in America, I mean, he had a slight accent, which to me, I barely heard his accent. But apparently back then it was a problem when it came to being on screen. People couldn't understand him. But also when he went back to China, he was seen as Western or American. And whether or not that was seen as good or bad, like maybe it was good because people see America as like a land to become successful, and he was a movie star.
Right.
Or whether it was seen as bad because he was an outsider, he didn't understand them, or he was just not one of them. Either way, it isolated him and made him feel different. So I really related to that part of Bruce Lee's past.
Going on about like his past, I think one thing stood out to you also is the wife said, this is like when Bruce Lee came back to America, before he could get all famous and whatnot, his wife said the happiest times in our lives is when he was poor, when he didn't have any roles.
Yeah, the wife, and I think even they interviewed his daughter, said that most of the memories were made during that time when they didn't have a lot going for them, so they were all just always together, but they weren't successful, they weren't famous. They were just a family that was always around each other. So that's something that really stuck out to us because it's the pandemic right now, and you know, everything is so uncertain. We don't know about our jobs in the future or our careers, and there's not much we can do until COVID-19 passes. But in the meantime, we're spending all this time together and we're making the most of it, and we're definitely going to remember all the experiences we've had and just being around each other like 24/7.
Back in my day of 2020, your grandpa and I always spent every single minute together.
there was a disease that was killing millions of people, but we were in our apartment safe because of the power of love.
Yes, in each other's arms, cuddling.
And then we'll make it out in front of our grandchildren.
Yes, grandchildren. It all circles back to us being grandparents in the future.
Yes. Go. Oh man. I want to eat another one. It's okay, babe. This one's for you. Squidward moment.
So, my grandma told me, because we talked about the drive-in experience with my grandma from my dad's side. And she was like, oh, I saw all of his movies, you know, back in the day. And my dad used to tell me that they used to watch lots of martial arts movies. So I wanted to go into martial arts as soon as possible as a kid. I would be the favorite, not gonna lie, of my first dojo master. And it was really cute. And I practiced it for, I guess, a total of 10 years. I've been to 2 dojos. I did Taekwondo traditionally, and then I did the modern version. Yeah, there's ITF and WTF. So I practiced ITF for about most of my childhood, up until like middle school. So ever since I was a little elementary kid, all the way to middle school, practicing in the same dojo. I was almost to a black belt technically, but at the time my family couldn't afford me to take the black belt test because it does cost money. But I was qualified for it. And so I stopped, I moved to my next town. Then I went to WTF dojo in high school and I studied for 3 years, 4 years. I think that's about enough for you to take like the black belt test. So then I actually had the money to take it and I earned my black belt. Even though technically I should have earned it twice.
I wanted to ask this question earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. What is the difference between the 2 styles of Taekwondo?
Oh, so I guess it depends on competitive sport or art. In ITF, it's more like foundation, being grounded, making it as an art, showing power. But that's because they more focus on forms. Forms is kind of like, I guess, the dance. But in WTF, it's more, they always focus on competitive, sparring. So it's like speed, just kick. Get your opponent as quick as possible. You're doing it for points. You're not doing it for the art. I actually personally still like, maybe it's because I grew up more with ITF, that I like showing the aggressiveness and the power in my punches and kicks rather than trying to just simply win the battle.
So the reason why I asked this is because once the pandemic is over, we're thinking about doing Taekwondo together because Ren really misses training and it's something she enjoyed growing up, and because I'm an Asian actor, so it's only gonna help me if I know martial arts. And I've always like wanted to be a black belt in something. When I was a kid, I thought that black belt meant you were invincible, and I want to be invincible.
My first dojo teacher was like, once you become a black belt, you have to register your arms as a weapon. But I remember watching this, I think it was a movie, and the joke was like, yeah, that's called manslaughter. Actually, it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and this goes back to Bruce Lee, where Bruce Lee was like, if I kill someone, I have to register my arms as a weapon. And then the protagonist said, yeah, that's called manslaughter. I think you'll do really good in Taekwondo. I remember when we did Kung Fu, Nick really picked it up quickly. This guy picks up anything quickly.
Oh, thanks, honey.
You do.
Apparently, I can squat really low. My teacher was like, you're squatting too low. And I was like, is that possible? This is martial art. Isn't your center of gravity supposed to be really low to the ground? Recently, Ren got a job as a professional artist. She is doing motion graphics, and she released her thesis film, which is about Peruvian food, called Mikhuna, which I got the voice. And we're super excited, and we want everyone to see it. So we'll probably put it in the description below.
Please. please, we'll love you so much. Just watch it. Nick does such a great job in voicing in it.
Oh, thanks. There were a lot of Spanish words that I had a hard time pronouncing because I don't speak Spanish at all. But she did a really good job, and I'm really proud of her. And we just wanted to share it with you guys, so that's just a little quick plug. Well, thanks guys so much for joining us while we ate InNOut today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time for more food.
Yes.
Aggressive. Peace. They're like, we're just gonna make one of these easy for everyone to come and see. So now the baby stopped crying and the mom is yelling.
Yes. Actually, a lot of ASMR artists, they show their bloopers and it's like they have noises in the background, so they gotta wait. Like Ting Ting ASMR, she showed one clip where she's just waiting for like the neighbor to stop taking a shower because the shower drain went, and she was just sitting there like, oh look, all the, I think it was like soap, all the soap's dried up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of feel that now.